He went to pick up a few things at the market, but instead met two little black girls whose cart told a bigger story than their words. The late summer sun baked the parking lot as Ethan Cole slid out of his silver sedan, the heat shimmering off chrome. In his light gray suit he looked every inch the billionaire investor he was, but inside he carried a quiet loneliness. It had been over 5 years since he'd seen Danielle, the woman he once promised forever. He didn't even know she had passed, until a former neighbor mentioned it in passing a month ago. Inside the cool air of Greenway Market, Ethan grabbed a basket, ready for a quick trip. But near the produce section he noticed them. Two small girls, brown skin, red sundresses, tight pigtails. Their cart held only bread, apples, and a few cans of soup. One counted coins carefully, the other clutched a worn envelope. They couldn't have been more than 5. He crouched down. "Hi there. Do you need help?" The older one looked up, cautious but polite. "We just need to pay for Mommy's list." "Where's Mommy?" Ethan asked gently. She's in heaven," the younger whispered. Something inside him jolted. "What are your names?" "I'm Leah and this is my sister Nia." "Beautiful names," he said softly. "How old are you?" 5, they answered in unison. Ethan's heart thudded. 5 years, exactly the time since he and Danielle had spoken. He noticed the envelope now. Nia held it like treasure. "Is that for someone special?" "It's for Mommy," Nia said. "Her favorite store." At the checkout the cashier scanned their items but the coins fell short. Ethan slid his black card across the counter. "I've got this," he said. The girls looked at each other, then at him. "Thank you," Leah murmured. As the cashier bagged the groceries, Ethan bent to their level. "Do you have someone waiting for you?" They shook their heads. "Miss Carla watches us sometimes but she had to work." He hesitated, then offered, "Would you like a ride home? Just until we find Miss Carla. I promise you're safe." The sisters exchanged a look, then nodded. Their tiny hands slipped into his, fragile but trusting. Ethan carried the bags to his car, helping them into the back seat. When he fastened Nia's belt, something glinted against her dress. He froze. A delicate silver chain with a familiar pendant, an engraved heart he himself had given Danielle years ago. His breath caught. "Where did you get that necklace?" he asked quietly. "It was Mommy's," Nia replied. "She said we should always wear it together." Ethan steadied himself, memories flooding back. Danielle had kept the gift and somehow these girls, her girls, wore it now. He pulled out of the lot, questions pounding in his mind. Why hadn't anyone told him? Why had she hidden this? But one thing was certain. He wasn't letting these two little girls slip through his life. They stopped at a small diner on the way. Leah and Nia devoured grilled cheese and apple juice while Ethan stirred untouched coffee, trying to catch up on all he'd missed. Their laughter, their first words, the years he could never reclaim. "Did your mom ever talk about me?" he finally asked. Leah nodded. "She had your picture. Sometimes she smiled, sometimes she cried." "Did she ever say my name?" "She said maybe we'd meet you," Nia whispered. Hope ached in his chest. Danielle hadn't erased him. She believed this moment might come. When they arrived at a small brick duplex, the girls pointed to a green door. "This is where Miss Carla lives." Ethan knocked. The door opened to reveal a woman in her 50s, eyes wide. "Mr. Cole? I never thought I'd see you." "You know me?" he asked. "Of course," Carla said softly. "Danielle told me everything." Inside, the modest home was bright with children's drawings. The girls curled up on the couch as Carla handed Ethan a sealed envelope. His hands trembled as he opened it. Danielle's handwriting spilled across the page, explaining her illness, her decision to raise the girls quietly, her memories of their love. "If you find them, please love them. Even if you can't forgive me." Ethan looked at Leah and Nia, already dozing under a blanket. "I want to take them," he said, voice steady. "For good." Carla's eyes welled. "I prayed you would." The road ahead would be hard, but Ethan saw only 2 little girls and the chance he would never waste again. The next morning Ethan woke in Carla's guest room. Sunlight streamed across the quilt, birds called outside, soft footsteps moved down the hallway. The night before had been a blur, but the warmth of her home steadied him. He stepped out to find Carla at the stove flipping pancakes, butter hissing on the pan. She slid a stack onto a plate. "They're strong girls," she said quietly. "But they've been through more than you realize." "Patience, Ethan." "I don't expect them to trust me overnight," he replied. "I just want to be here long enough to earn it." They sat at the kitchen table without hurry. Money and influence meant nothing here. What mattered was showing up. Soon Leah and Nia patted in, pajamas rumpled, hair tousled. Nia clutched a worn teddy bear, Leah held their mother's letter. Ethan offered only a gentle smile. Carla seated them and served pancakes. The girls ate in silence, stealing glances at him. After breakfast, Carla drew him aside. "If you're serious, get a lawyer. Petition for custody." "I'll start today," Ethan promised. "Then stay close. They need to know you won't disappear." He canceled meetings, extended his stay, and booked a hotel suite with 2 bedrooms. That afternoon he invited the girls over. They hesitated until Carla reminded them the choice was theirs. They nodded. At the hotel, Ethan let them explore, pick a movie, and arrange the pillows. He didn't press. During the film, Nia curled against him, silent but trusting. Leah kept her distance, but when a cartoon cat tumbled on screen she let out a quick laugh. Ethan caught it like treasure. On the drive back, Nia asked, "Can we come tomorrow?" "Anytime," he said. At the door, Leah paused. "Are you going to leave again?" He crouched to meet her eyes. "No. I'm here now. I'm not going anywhere." She gave a small nod, a beginning. Days fell into a rhythm. Ethan, once ruled by market openings and boardrooms, now measured time in braids, cereal, and bedtime stories. The hotel suite turned into a fragile sanctuary. Visits grew longer. Lunches, craft projects, walks in the park. He bought them new shoes, introduced them to pistachio ice cream. Nia hugged him freely. Ethan held her close, grateful. Leah stayed cautious but slowly softened. Painting on the balcony, she asked him to help draw a cat. To Ethan it felt like a lock turning. Behind the scenes he filed for custody. Carla cooperated fully, but not everyone approved. Denise, Danielle's older sister, phoned in anger, accusing him of guilt-driven heroics. Ethan simply listened. When she demanded why he deserved a place in their lives, he answered, "Because I'm their father. Because I love them and I won't abandon them again." The line went quiet until Denise finally sighed. "Then don't fail them." That night he took the girls to a grassy hill beneath the stars. Wrapped in a blanket, flashlight in hand, they traced shapes in the constellations. For the first time Leah laughed freely. Nia curled close and whispered, "Do you think Mommy can see us?" "I think she always is," Ethan said. "And she's proud of you both." Leah studied him. "Would she be proud of you?" He hesitated. "I hope so. I'm trying to be someone she'd be proud of." The quiet stretched, peaceful and full. Ethan realized this moment meant more than any fortune he'd built. It wasn't about undoing the past but showing up for the future. The next week carried calm and quiet storms. Mornings of drawing, afternoons of walks, evenings of trust slowly building. But change was coming. Evelyn Marks, a family court representative, arrived unannounced. She questioned Ethan on the balcony, why he hadn't been there from the start, why his name wasn't on their birth certificates, and whether he could offer stability. Ethan admitted his absence, explained his ignorance, and pledged his commitment. Before leaving, Evelyn knelt beside the girls. "Do you feel safe here?" Leah said, "Yes." Nia nodded, then added, "He makes us pancakes with chocolate chips." Evelyn smiled faintly and wrote it down. Ethan felt a rush of relief. He hadn't run. That was progress. But another challenge came quickly. A plain envelope lay under his door. Inside was notice that Martin Carter, Danielle's former boyfriend and the girl's temporary guardian on paper, had filed for custody. Carla was stunned. He never visited when Danielle was sick. Why now? Ethan suspected leverage or self-delusion. His lawyer assured him they had solid ground, but a hearing was inevitable. Evidence, testimony, questions about the girls. He dreaded it. The waiting showed. He tried to keep it hidden, but Leah sensed the tension. She bit her nails again. Nia stopped asking for bedtime stories. One night Leah whispered, "Are we leaving soon?" The question pierced him. He sat beside her. "Why would you think that?" "Because good things don't last. Mommy said so." Ethan closed his eyes. "This will last. I can't promise it will always be easy, but I'm not going anywhere." She shifted closer, silent trust. That night, as city lights flickered outside the hotel window, Ethan vowed he would fight, not just for custody but for their trust. The courtroom was smaller than he expected. Beige walls, wooden benches, heavy with tension. Leah and Nia stayed with Carla, but Ethan felt their presence like a heartbeat. Across the aisle sat Martin Carter, gray suit stiff, eyes uneasy. Ethan remembered him vaguely, a shadow from Danielle's past. Martin's lawyers painted him as a steady presence, noting the brief help he gave during Danielle's illness. True but thin. Ethan's attorney countered with DNA evidence, testimony from Carla and Evelyn Marks, and crayon drawings the girls made, A man, two girls, a house with a heart. When it was Ethan's turn, he spoke without notes. He told the judge he hadn't known about Leah and Nia, that Danielle never reached out, that he came to pay for groceries and instead found his future in two small sisters with wide, searching eyes. He described what he had learned in weeks together. Leah hated raisins. Nia whispered in her sleep. They broke bread small for ducks. They danced when no one watched. He admitted his absence but vowed he was here to stay. The courtroom fell silent. Even Martin seemed shaken. The judge recessed. Ethan waited on a cold hallway bench, wondering what he would tell the girls if he lost them. An hour later the ruling came. The judge acknowledged Martin's limited role but said true safety couldn't come from proximity alone. Ethan Cole had shown proof of care. Full custody, effective immediately. Relief struck hard. Alone in the corridor, he leaned against the wall, trembling. That evening he returned to Carla's house. The girls ran to him. Leah hugged him fiercely. Nia whispered, "Can we go home now?" Ethan knelt. "Yes, let's go home." It wouldn't erase grief or questions, but they had gained a father who would never walk away again. The first morning in their new home felt like a dream. Sunlight spilled across pastel walls the girls had chosen. Nia wore her favorite red sundress despite the heat. Leah padded in with a book in hand. Ethan flipped pancakes, half panicked over toppings. Breakfast turned to happy chaos, syrup everywhere, Nia dropping blueberries just to watch him crawl under the table, Leah reading aloud as if every word were music. Imperfect, messy, and better than any deal he had ever closed. He had chased excellence all his life, but real joy came from burnt pancakes, crooked pigtails, and two small voices calling him daddy. In the weeks that followed, their house found rhythm. Mornings of mismatched socks, lunches with handwritten notes, gentle tutoring at the kitchen table. For the first time life felt real. Ethan wanted Leah and Nia steady before facing the larger world. Afternoons became walks, park visits, and craft sessions that left glitter in the carpet. Evenings softened into bath time and story time, ordinary moments that felt sacred. Late at night Ethan wrote again, not business plans but small memories. Nia's bug collections, Leah's questions about the stars, the way both girls said goodnight like it truly mattered. Fatherhood, he learned, wasn't mastered. It was chosen daily. Carla visited often, guiding gently. When nightmares startled Nia or silence weighed on Leah, she reminded him that healing wasn't about fixing every problem but staying through every storm. One afternoon, Leah asked quietly, "Do you think Mommy would have liked this house?" Ethan squeezed her hand. "She would have loved it. Loved watching you grow up here." Leah leaned against Ethan, wordless trust deepening. By the end of the first month they felt like a family, bound not by paperwork, but by shared mourning and steady mending. Danielle's memory lived in framed photos, bedtime stories, and the familiar phrases the girls remembered. Ethan never tried to replace her. Instead, he became their anchor, their safe place. For the first time he built not with wealth or deals, but with patience and love. After years of chasing the world, he discovered everything he truly needed in the laughter of two little girls who now called him Dad. Not perfect, real. A quiet redemption born from choosing to stay.